Welcome back to another episode of the Cycle Podcast, the show where we cover 4 trending MLB topics in 20 minutes or less. Today, we're going to be covering a little bit of what was a very exciting All-Star weekend, as well as a little bit of MLB Draft, and running through the standings, see where these teams stack up as we go into the second half. I'm joined, as always, by Josh, a.k.a. Kablumski. Josh, how we doing? It's good to see you again today.
I'm pumped, ready for the show. Awesome to be back. Let's get it going.
Absolutely. The first topic today is going to be a little bit of the MLB Draft. As you know, MLB Draft is sort of a strange one. A lot of these guys we're not even going to be seeing for a few years. The guys who move through the ranks quickest will probably be up partway through next year. But a lot of it went sort of how we projected. Outside of Eli Willits, there was some talk of him going to the Nationals, but a lot of people were still thinking Ethan Holiday. Right. Willits is the youngest number 1 overall pick since Ken Griffey Jr. He was originally slotted at number 5, jumps to number 1. They saved something like $11 million taking him. It seems strange to project a kid who's 17 years old coming out of what should have been his junior year of high school. I really thought Cade Anderson should have been the number 1 overall pick. He falls at number 3, a lefty out of LSU, and we know LSU can create pitchers, and we know the Mariners can develop them. I see him. I mean, if the Mariners made it to the postseason, I would not be surprised if Cade Anderson made it onto that roster when they expand, sort of like what the Royals did with Brandon Finnegan in 2014. Drafted him out of TCU, brought him right up, and he pitched in the College World Series and the World Series. Keep an eye on Cade Anderson. Speaking of Ethan Holiday, he goes at number 4 to Colorado, who drafted his dad, a big kid who can hit like crazy, more power projected than Jackson. Maybe not as well-rounded as Jackson coming out, but I think he projects a higher ceiling than his bigger brother. Now, you had a take later on in the first round, a guy you really wanted to see go to Tampa Bay. So I'll let you cover that.
Yeah, real quick, because it was a situation where the missing piece for my Rays, and I apologize as I go on a little bit of a rant here as a homer, but the missing piece was a catcher. Not because I am a catcher. It's just that it's obvious for me. We produce great pitchers. We got timely hitting. We don't got big names, but we make it happen. The missing piece has always been a catcher. Now we've had a few catchers that have been sprinkled in here and there, but we have not had a franchise catcher. Ever since 2008, we had the opportunity of drafting a guy by the name of Buster Posey. I'm sure if you guys know, not a bad career out of Florida State. Go Gators. But what I'm saying is the guy was a generational catcher. He literally had his own day for him where he played every position. And we went, and I believe we drafted Tim Beckham. A high school shortstop, was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Shout out to him, whatever, but it did not work for us. It did not work for us. Short term, not only long term, and we've been jinxed ever since. We had a few years later after that, we had a situation where we could have got another one, and we took BJ up there. Fast forwarded to now, we have a guy by the name of Caden Bodine. This guy right here, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys want to teach your kids how to catch a baseball in a professional or in any type of baseball game, he is the man to watch right now. The way he is stealing strikes out of the strike zone and bringing them in as strikes is unbelievable, and it's analytically historical. The way that he caught this past year. And it goes down in the history books as one of the best catcher seasons I've ever in college baseball. We had the opportunity to get this guy. We ended up going with a guy by the name of Daniel Pierce, I believe it was. And Daniel Pierce is regarded to be the next Bobby Witt Jr. Some say this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, the guy is a high schooler. Caden Bodine just played in the College World Series. He's proven he's taking the lumps and bruises that he's going to be taking in the MLB or in the minor league. Put him in, he'll be fast tracked. I just don't understand what we were doing with that pick. Shout out to a lot of Florida guys, especially Tampa guys, getting drafted number 1 in the first round as well. Great day for baseball. A lot of organizations either changed for the better as far as future wise, or they shit the bed. And I think the Rays shit the bed, like always. But it is what it is. I digress.
It's the most important position in baseball. You don't have a good catcher, there's not as much to build around. If you have a need at catcher and there's a college proven catcher available, I would never pass that up for a middle infielder out of high school, which is why the Orioles took Adley Rutschman over Bobby Witt Jr. They needed a
Right.
proven catcher. It doesn't matter what these middle infielders out of high school project as. You have no idea what they're going to be like in 4 or 5 years. Just like Eli Willits, we don't know if his power is going to develop. We don't know if his defense is going to develop. We don't know if he's going to stick at shortstop. I personally will always say go with a college guy in the first round because you know what you're getting. Take that gamble later in the draft on some of
Right.
these high school kids.
Sure.
But with that, let's move on to some more exciting content, the Home Run
Yes.
Derby and the All-Star Game. Our second topic today is going to be diving into the Home Run Derby, where we saw Seattle Mariners superstar catcher Cal Raleigh take the prize, $1 million, well earned. I personally was high, the big dumper. I was big on O'Neill Cruz, who did put on quite a show, had the longest home run at over 500 feet, but it was Cal Raleigh that had the consistency round over round. I know you were disappointed. Junior Caminero came up short. And for the viewers that weren't watching our live stream, me and Josh made a bet. He is going to have to wear a Kansas City Royals hat on the podcast. In the final round, he took Caminero. I took Cal Raleigh. And my guy came out on top. Now, the big controversy of the Home Run Derby, we can't do anything without a little controversy, was the Brent Rooker versus Cal Raleigh tiebreaker. Both guys hit 17 home runs in the first round. Both of them had a longest home run of 471 feet, which is what was posted. So the majority of people thought we were going to a swing off. Turns out Cal Raleigh's longest home run was measured at 470.62 feet. Brent Rooker's home run, 470.54 feet. So less than a tenth of a foot, which we're talking a little over 1 inch. So the question is, can StatCast and all these metrics that are watching these home runs, analyzing it based off of launch angle and bat speed, can they project the distance of a home run that's landing in a crowd of people down to the inch? I would guess not. And Brent Rooker was not happy about that at all. He spoke after the game saying everybody thought we were going to some kind of swing off. Both home runs said 471 feet. So the question is, especially after the success of the swing off in the All-Star game, should we have gone to a swing off despite Cal Raleigh being the one everybody wanted to see move on? Josh, would you have preferred a swing off, or are you satisfied with how things went?
It's the home run derby. It's the home run derby. As much as I was rooting for Cal Raleigh, I mean, obviously Junior Caminero was my pick, but you guys know I'm a the Big Dumpers fan. You got to swing off. You have to. And it was almost a flawless few days for MLB as far as the host Atlanta, and the whole celebrity game. Great All Star game. If they would have got this right, man, it would have been one of the greatest, all-star quote unquote weekends that we've seen in recent times. But at the end of the day, too, you're not gonna please everybody. You're not gonna, you're not gonna some way somehow it would have been represented somehow. So my personal opinion, yes, it's a swing off. It's the home run derby. What are we doing here?
Now
Break it down to 10
they
swings.
swing it off, and Brent Rooker moves on, and then we find out later that Cal Raleigh's was a quarter of an inch further. You're going to have people upset about that too, saying, "Well,
Correct.
the tiebreaker was longest home run, so Cal Raleigh should have moved on."
And
So
to answer your question about the whole Statcaster thing, I mean, it's tough to go against technology, but the human element of like we talked about off air, one person catches it one row, but he's diving back 2, 3 rows because it was whatever it may be. Are they counting where the guy caught it from or where the ball? You know what I mean? So it can be. It's truly a game of inches. We saw that, right? But overall, I think that they're going to get this right. It's an easy fix, hopefully. And it was just a good performance through the whole night. The whole night was great showing. Even Jazz Chisholm was hitting some great line drives, singles. But yeah, man, honestly, it should have
He
been a
had a
swing
good
off.
time. He had a good time. They talked about the home run derby. I believe it was Ryan Sandberg won early 2000s. He won the home run derby with 3 home runs in
Oh,
total.
really?
Well, that was back when they would do like 5 or 10 outs. Ken Griffey Jr. hit 0, like McGuire hit 0, and then Ryan Sandberg
Uh,
hit 3, won the home run derby. Take Jazz Chisholm back 2 decades, he's winning that home run derby. But no, overall, it was an outstanding event. I had a great time. Obviously, we
yes,
watched it together in person. Um, I think next year we say regardless, no distance bonus or no distance tiebreaker. If you have the same number of home runs, you go to a three swing off, and that's how we decide it. And
yep,
if we need to, the longest home run of the swing off is the secondary tiebreaker, and it's tough to argue with the results at that point. But we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that, and next year maybe they'll fix it. Maybe not. Maybe just say, got to hit the damn ball farther, man.
that's it. Sometimes it just be like that.
Our third topic today is going to be just running through a little bit of the stats from the All-Star game, key moments where the National League won in the first ever swing-off tiebreaker. Obviously, if you were around in 2002 when the game went into like the 12th inning and teams ran out of pitchers and the game had to end in a tie, the MLB said, we're not doing that again. If it goes into extra innings, we're going a 3-player swing-off. Each league picks 3 players. Obviously, the NL won that. But before we get to that, let's just run through the big scoring. You had Kettle Marte with a 2-run double in the bottom of the first inning off of Tarek Skubal, who had a less than optimal showing as the All-Star starter. The game remained 2-0 through the 6th inning when my boy Chris Bubich gives up a 3-run bomb to Pete Alonso, followed by Chris Bubich getting pulled. Corbin Carroll comes in right away, hits another home run. NL up 6-0. Right away in the 7th, Brent Rooker homers 3-run. Bobby Witt Jr. drives in Michael Garcia, making it 6-4. 9th inning, Bobby Witt hits an RBI double and is driven in by Stephen Kwan. That brings us to the 6-6 tie that the game ended in. Now, just to clear some stuff up on social media, we saw a lot of people, including myself, saying, why didn't the American League send out Cal Raleigh, Bobby Witt Jr., and Aaron Judge for this swing off? You have all these boppers that have had success in the home run derby in the past. Why not send them? Well,
All right.
the managers had to choose in advance the 3 guys they were going to use. And both managers sort of came to the conclusion that you're not going to pick guys from the starting lineup because by the time this swing off rolls around, these guys have been cold for 2 hours. Judge was pulled after like the 5th inning. Otani's been out for over 2 hours of this time. So they went with guys that were not starting, that were a little fresher. National League sends out Kyle Stowers, Kyle Schwarber, Pete Alonso. The American League sends out Brent Rooker, Randy Arozarena, and Jonathan Aranda. Stowers hits 1 home run. Brent Rooker hits 2. Then we bring out Kyle Schwarber for the National League, who hits 3 home runs on his 3 swings, putting the National League up. Jonathan Aranda, pressure gets to him a little bit, isn't able to tie the event up. Pete Alonso doesn't even have to hit. Did you like the swing off, or would you have preferred them to say, hey, maybe if the game goes past the 10th inning, we go to a swing off? What do you think?
No, straight to it, baby. Straight to it. You gotta understand too, this is an exhibition game. So this game at the end of the day, quote unquote, doesn't really mean anything. So you're doing it for the entertainment standpoint at this point. You're doing
Yeah.
it for the fans, you're in an entertainment in an entertainment position. So yes, they did it right, they played it off right. And I love the fact that they had to pick 3 and 3 from each sides. So it's not just a one-on-one guy going after it. You bring up a good point as far as not putting the starters in. They've been cold. I want to tweak something like that. Because I did question like why we're not bringing the big guys out.
Mhm.
But it did play a factor. But two things that stood out to me really was pressure bust pressure bust pipes or makes diamonds. Okay, pressure bust pipes or makes diamonds. That is a quote that sticks with me, and I use when I talk about players and stuff like that. You're either gonna do barbecue or mildew. What I'm saying with all this is that in certain situations you're up for the challenge or you're not. And I think that Jonathan Aranda, I think it was a little bit too much for him in that situation. And I think Tarek Skubal pitched with a pucker factor. I think that it was something that he wasn't used to. Whatever. I don't know. That was just my opinion. But the second main thing too was Quan. Hit the Quan. His the way he plays the game is very Corbin Carroll-ish to me. And I'm a huge fan of Corbin Carroll as well. They play the game that was supposed to be played, meaning they use their abilities to make them better and help their team. What I mean by that is they're not going up there trying to hit a ball 500 feet in the stands when they know that they can easily slap a ball or hit the ball in the gap and get on two and then steal it. What I'm saying is you're the analytic guy.
Situational hitter.
Right. And you like the numbers. And you said at the end of the day, I go from the heart. This is what I'm saying. Stephen Kwan slapped that ball semi Ichiro style ish, where he slapped it to the third base side. We all know the wheels that he possesses.
He was Bobby on third. You put anything in play.
And he got to wheels as well. I want to say there was 2 outs as well. So that was something that he didn't try to do too much into the situation. He let the game come to him, and he proceeded to do what he does best and just play the way he knows how to, and not try to be anything more than that. Correct.
He plays winning baseball, and unfortunately, it was a little not enough as the National League reigns supreme for only the second time in I believe 13 seasons. The American League has been, I mean, historically, the American League has been the better league in the All-Star game, but not this year. Better luck next year to both of our teams' league, the American League. For our final topic today, we're going to just touch on the standing as we go into the second half so we can see where everything stands, so to speak. In the National League, out east, Philadelphia, half a game over the Mets. Earlier in the month, I was talking about the Mets could possibly pull away here. They've looked like the best team in the division, but Philadelphia, veteran team, just finds a way to stick around. They have a lot of playoff experience pieces on that team. And I think this could end up being neck and neck all the way. In the Central, the Cubs only 1 game above the surging Milwaukee Brewers. I believe 3 weeks ago we talked about who's hot. Milwaukee had gone on a 9-1 stretch. Since then, another stretch of 8-2. They're just winning and winning and winning, riding a 7-game win streak going into the break. Out west, good. I like Milwaukee. Good team, good pitching. A lot of players on that team you root for. In the West, we kept saying this is a back and forth division as well. The Dodgers, 5.5 games ahead of San Diego, 6 games ahead of San Francisco, despite being on a 3-7 slide. So the Padres and the Giants probably looking at them saying, hey, if they keep this up after the break, we could gain some ground on them. That's going to be exciting. The entire National League now seems to be up for grabs after earlier saying that the Mets and Cubs and Dodgers could have it locked up maybe by the end of August. Let's go over to the American League where the Tigers have an 11.5 game lead over the Twins, 12 games over both the Royals and the Guardians. This division is as locked up as any division in baseball, I think.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of teams in that division fighting for the wild card. In the East, we see the Toronto Blue Jays pulling ahead of the Yankees. Shocking. 2 games up on the Yankees on a 7-3 stretch. The team I want to talk about, the Boston Red Sox, go into the break on a 10-game winning streak. They are 3 games back of that division. They could possibly, if they keep this up, maybe the reverse curse of Rafael Devers could maybe take that division or take one of the top wild card spots. Now out west, we've got Houston, 5 games ahead of Seattle, starting to pull away. Whereas 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were talking about Seattle as the team to beat in that division. Of course, the Rangers, still a team with a lot of talent. They are 8.5 games back, with the Angels 9 games back, well ahead of the Athletics. So
Correct.
a lot of divisions still up for grabs. Like I said, the only division um, that's really locked down is those Tigers. It would take a historic stumble for them to lose their spot out there. Now, the wild card, as it stands, we have the New York Yankees, the Boston Red Sox, and the Seattle Mariners in the American League. In the National League, we've got Milwaukee up top with the New York Mets and Padres. This is the first year since we've expanded the wild card that we could see two teams from each division. This is the
Oh
National
yeah.
League. The Dodgers and the Padres in the West, the
Right.
Cubs and the Brewers in the Central, and as it
Right.
stands, Phillies and the Mets out east. Is this what we really wanted to see with that expanded wild card on top of more competitive baseball in August? Do you think this is what they envisioned when they expanded, getting as many teams as possible, but teams from every division having a chance?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The cream always rises to the top, right? I always been a firm believer. You win your division, you're in. But then what happens to like the other guys that fought and stuff like that? It's always been tough to get the two guys in to do like a wild card. So I'm a believer in it. I'm a fan of it. This is like the best scenario, I guess, having two and two.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, if there was a division that's more dominant than the others and provides three, whereas we've seen that multiple times in the East with our division and AL where we provide three, and so be it. You know what I mean? And that's what happens. I think that the East on both sides of the conferences are the two divisions to look at. I think the Mets need to make a push for it, and if anybody had or needed a break more, it was the Tampa Bay Rays going into the break. So I'm hoping they utilize this not just as a fan, but just as a person that watches baseball. Because as a person that watches baseball, you root for the underdog, number one, but they always are in the mix somehow, some way. So and then the Red Sox, I'm actually going to have the opportunity to see them this weekend when they go into Wrigley Field. I'm pumped about that. So I hope they shit the bed. I hope they get swept. Go Cubs. And yeah, so I think that the NL is a little bit more interesting with a lot more interesting races in each division.
Yeah, and I foresee the NL coming down to the last series of the season for that
Same.
wild card. I mean, we could see the entire thing flip on the last weekend, and that would
Yeah,
be outstanding just as a baseball fan and give us plenty to talk about. But
for
with
sure.
that, guys, enjoy the weekend. Baseball is going to be back on Friday.
Oh yeah.
Make sure to like, comment, subscribe so you don't miss a show. Josh, once again, thank you for coming on. Anything to say as we wrap it up?
Yeah, look for me in the bleachers out there in Wrigley Field this weekend. I'm gonna be sure to let you guys know where I'm standing at. No, but seriously, thanks for following. Thanks for the support. Let us know what we can talk about. Like, subscribe, tell your friends about us. They're gonna tell their friends about us too. So get the word out. Thank you.
Absolutely. We'll see you next week.
Kaboomskis.